Hello friends, and welcome to yet another Sunday Soul Food session with me. So I would like to speak about why the unhealthy relationships, what's the base of those unhealthy relationships, and how we can come out of those unhealthy relationships. And I have noticed that we tend to reproduce these patterns, our behavior patterns in all our relationships, especially when it comes to a couple. We keep on repeating them in our different relationships. This keeps on repeating. What is the base of this unhealthy relationships that we might enter into or that we attract in our lives, and why we accept those also? When we are children, when we are very little babies, children, we are growing up, and those are our formative years. At that time we are growing up, personality is developing, and what is happening is that in the home, in our house, in our home with our parents, we are learning things from them. We are learning the way they communicate with each other. We learn what are the values, what are the beliefs of our parents, of our family that we live in. Our parents, are they being considerate towards each other? Are they discussing, or are they just abusing each other? Are they just throwing, lashing out their anger on each other? How is the conflict being dealt with? We are watching at that point of time when we are children, okay? And with all these things, we are growing. Our self-esteem is also developing at this particular point of time. And then afterwards, when we are adults, what happens is that we will attract a partner into our life when we grow up. And this particular partner that we attract into our life can be something that we are looking for in order to fulfill our deficit. For example, if a boy, a little baby boy, a little boy, when he's growing, the baby boy is growing, if he has a mother who has never paid attention to him, who has been very emotionally craving for mommy's attention or love, he will tend to attract or get attracted to a person of the same personality. Like, for example, to a woman who also must be a bit cold, a bit distant, because there is this little boy inside this adult man who still wants to get the mother's attention, is that he is trying to fulfill this vacuum that he had when he was a child, okay? And he's trying to fulfill this in this particular person in front. And then secondly, I can also give you an example of a friend of mine, basically, who was having a very abusive father. Abusive in the sense he was very violent, and he used to drink a lot. He was very violent, and in their house it was a kind of this poor little child was growing up in this kind of an ambience. And what happened later on in life is that she attracted abusive men in her life. And I would not understand. I was like, your father was so violent and abusive, and how could you end up with such a person? But then now, over the years, when I am going back to her story and thinking of it, there was this little girl who was craving for her father's attention, who was craving for the father's love that she didn't find. And when she attracted a man, she attracted a similar personality in her life, just like her father, because she thought this was absolutely normal to have this kind of a person in her life. And what happened because of that is that for some time it was okay, because she didn't mind, but afterwards it was too much, because those patterns were in this man, and she had chosen this man to be in her life. So what was happening is that her father's abusive behavior, where she wanted to attract the father's attention and love, she was trying to get it in this man. And this is why this kind of a partner has been attracted in the life. Not just this, she leaves this, she goes into another relationship, the same kind of a person she attracts into her life. So what is happening is that we are recurring these patterns in our life. We all can be victims of it. For example, the anger runs in the family, we say. How does it run in the family? Well, the anger runs in the family in the sense, if the mother is very, very angry, she has outbursts of anger and things like that. Well, for the child will see it and say, okay, this is something normal, because you have been formed as taking this kind of abusive relationship between your parents, or between, you know, the mother always accepting something, no matter what the father is demeaning her or whatever it is happening, your mother is always accepting it. So in life you will be a woman who will keep accepting this in your partner. No matter what he does, it's okay, because I have seen my mother accept the same things. Or if your father was beating you up when you were a child, well, in the future, if your partner is reproducing the same behavior, you will be somehow, you will feel at home with it. It's very strange. You will feel angry, but at the same time you will feel at home, because you will say, oh, it's okay, my father also used to do the same thing, or my mother also used to do something like that. Or if the mother was completely like, okay, she gives all the liberties to the father, do whatever you want, just give me the money every month, and I run the house. Well, you as a daughter, when you grow up, what happens is that you tend to be like that with your partner. Okay, you do whatever you want, you just give me the money for the month and I'll run the house. And you try to repeat that same behavior as your mother was, or as you grew up watching. Now all these patterns lead to unhealthy imbalances or unhealthy relationships. Now what do we do? How do we deal with it? First of all, it's going to be very, very painful, because it is inside of us. It's a part of us, okay? Each of us, we have to be honest in that, is that it is each of us. Maybe I also must have gone through certain things that I might reproduce in my existing life. Okay, you also have gone through something which you find is normal, which actually is not normal, or which makes you extremely angry, but you cannot do anything about it because you are so much conditioned about it. All those beliefs, all those values that are coming from our childhood, that are coming from our home, our conditionings, deep conditionings from our family, our parents, our caretakers. This is what comes up when we are adults. And now what do we do? How do we treat it? Well, the first thing is that we need to accept. And how do we accept it? Because we cannot see it. It's very, very, very difficult and very painful also. It can be a painful process, I tell you. We have to introspect. Just close your eyes and you introspect. Why am I getting into this kind of relationships all the time? Why am I always attracting an infidel man in my life? Why am I attracting always a cold personality, a cold woman who doesn't care for me in my life? Now start going back. Whatever the problem is in your relationships, now you start going back. Go back to your childhood. Watch your parents at that particular time. Introspect and try to see, where is it coming from? What is happening? What was I conditioned about? Why am I always taking orders of people? Because most probably, why am I behaving as a slave of people? Because most probably in my childhood, I was just told to do this, do that. And I kept on accepting it because I was helpless. I was a child. I had to accept certain things. And I did it. And today, I am reproducing this behavior that no matter who says something to me, I have to obey it. Because why? Because I have this conditioning of my childhood. Now, what do I do? Why am I so angry? Because one of my parents was very, very angry. Why I cannot discuss with someone cold-headedly? Why can't I sort this conflict cool, with a cool mind and an intellectual mind? Because when I saw in my house, what was happening is that the conflicts were taking place and they were only emotional accusations that were taking place on each other. All this, you need to introspect about it. When you introspect about it, you need to accept, yes, I am conditioned to be like that. And now what am I supposed to do? How do I treat it? Meditation is the best way to treat it. How do you treat it with meditation? You need to just go deep into yourself in the meditation state and become thoughtless. Getting that thoughtless awareness is the first key to getting rid of all those past conditionings. You are not your conditionings. You are a pure soul. And then during meditation, you can reach to a particular point where you will be able to forgive, because forgiveness is very important, because many people suffer so many things in their childhood, so many things, and until forgiveness has not taken place, healing will not happen. You need to forgive. If you cannot forgive, you cannot be free, my dear. You cannot be free. You need to forgive. It's very difficult, very difficult, but you need to forgive, because only you know what you have gone through. So you need to forgive. And how you can forgive? By entering into the spiritual plane. What do we do spiritually over here? Know that you have chosen your family before you came from there. Your soul chose your family, my dear. You chose those parents before you came. You signed that contract up there. You chose that family. No matter how horrible that family is, or no matter how loving and caring that family is, it was you who chose it. And why did you choose? Why did your soul choose it? For evolution. To evolve. To evolve fundamentally. By repeating certain patterns. You were born in a particular family. You went through a lot of things in that particular family, and today you are the conditioned robot of your childhood. Yes? And today you want to break free from all this. Because until you don't understand that you have to break free from those recurring unhealthy patterns that are blocking your progress in your life, there is no breakthrough possible. The key is in your hands. And how are you going to do it? You have to know that on this earth, this is nothing but a big classroom, a very big classroom. And you chose this particular class, this particular family that you came, this classroom you chose. There you got conditioned. And why those conditionings? Because your soul has to fulfill something. Your soul has to get rid of certain things. Otherwise you will keep on repeating the same things. You will keep on banging your head on all the walls. And what is going to happen? You're not going to get free of anything. And it will keep repeating. So spiritually, the moment you realize that you need to accept all these things that have happened, and the moment you realize that now I need to rise above my conditionings, I need to undo those conditionings, at that very time your liberation will be possible. Ask yourself, do I want to keep on giving certain negative catches or conditionings of my family, which I am already suffering, to my children and to their children? My children will give it to their children, and so on and so on. It continues. It is quite a heredity, right? It's like a kind of a heritage that you receive. Yes, your parents also, they are also the victims of the same. And so when you realize that your soul is here to evolve, this is when you can really evolve. You can break free from those shackles, from those chains of your past conditionings. That time you can raise your self-esteem. At that time you can realize that, oh my God, what did I do? I was always attracting a person. Why was I getting attracted to this particular man or this particular woman? Why was I doing that? As a man and woman, you would see it, and then you would realize that, oh, there was something of my father in him, and because of that I got attracted to that person, because there was something I wanted to please my father and I couldn't do it. And now in this man who has something of my father, I am trying to find the solace. or somebody who I was trying to please my mother, who was never available for me, and now in this woman I'm trying, this child inside me is trying to please this woman. You will realize all that, and when you're about that, that's it. You have attained your freedom and you are free from those conditionings. It's a very vast topic, it's a very complicated topic, my friends, but everything has a very deep root cause, and that's what I wanted to discuss with you, because I've been seeing so many of my clients go through all this. I just really wanted to discuss and share it with you. I hope you get some insight on it, because I was really studying this for long and I just want to share it with you. So thank you very much for listening, for watching. Please do like, share and comment. And yes, if you are struggling with something, now is the time that you need to break free and let your soul evolve on this wonderful, wonderful journey on this classroom called Earth. Bye-bye. God bless. Take care.